Another day, another story. Okay, let's begin training ourselves, how to talk to recruiters. But before we go any further, let's understand who these recruiters or staffing companies are. As you know, biotech, pharmaceutical, and medical device companies generally have more departments than structure of any general manufacturing within the industry. From research and development of the drug, there are many departments ranging from regulatory department for filing the documentation of the drug with FDA. Moreover, various equipments and department, machine controls, supply chain department, quality assurance department, quality control, labs, manufacturing unit, engineering, and finance. For a company to have an HR department, to know the talent requirements of all profiles that company wants to hire across all departments, requires a deeply knowledgeable HR department. To find the required talent for a company, the HR must be deeply knowledgeable. Moreover, on the other hand, few biotech and pharmaceutical companies use professional HR firms. These firms, and recruitment agencies, and staffing companies. These entities know how to source the required talent, and this knowledge that staffing agencies have comes in handy in this process. Some biotech and pharmaceutical companies are working on new drug development, and sometimes they don't have expert to find the right talent. To fill the HR department's responsibility, these companies use staffing and recruitment agencies. So, there are a lot of opportunities available out there that do not come directly from the HR of the company but in externally hired hour. The only job of this recruiter is to push you in front of the hiring manager for your placement or interview. The only thing this recruiter and staffing agencies wants to confirm that they have received your resume and they have positions that they believe you are a right fit for. They know the basic keywords on your resume like GDP, GMP. If the company is working on DS, or DP and FDP, they will provide this information to you about job description. After completion of this training, you already understand the process of DS, DP, and FDP. So, you already know right of the bet what stage the company is working on, and you know how to work on all three stages of drug manufacturing process. This is how the conversation goes. A candidate gets a call, and recruiter on the other end explains to the candidate that they have found your resume on job portals like Monster, ZipRecruiter, etc. All they want to know is that you are actively looking for a position of manufacturing technician. The recruiter will go over a few basic questions and answers. This is to determine that they are talking to the right and real person. Recruiter can take your resume to the hiring manager to get an interview scheduled as soon as possible. But let us understand, if you are asked to speak, how you should answer these questions. This is what the conversation should sound like. Recruiter can begin his conversation with, "Hi, how are you?" Your answer should be as obvious with common courtesy. "I am doing good. How are you? Thank you for your call," and you should continue by saying, "Hi there, my name is John Smith. I have an education in Bachelor of Science, Marketing, Business, whichever it is." Tell your subject of education, or high school, or any other certification you may have. You can also say that I have recently completed my training assignment at Arian Consulting Incorporated. I have learned biotech and pharmaceutical manufacturing technician, and packaging technologies. I am well versed with DS, DP, FDP stages, know the GDP and GMP principles, and have rich understanding on gowning practices and safety of patients and drugs. Now, the recruiter will ask the second question. Why are you looking for this role? At this point, this is a very general question, as they are asking you, why are you leaving your last role and applying for this? That's all the reason for this question. You can reply by saying, since this is your first time in this industry, you can talk a bit about your previous career, and say I have completed my training in biotech manufacturing technician at Arian Consulting Incorporated. Now recruiter will ask, how much rate you are looking for? I am looking for $22 to start with minimum. We believe this is fair expectations based on my skills, learning and training. Now, at this point recruiter can ask, please tell me about your work authorization, or visa status, or if you are U.S. citizen. Some recruiters will ask you if you need a sponsor for your visa. This is just because they believe most of the people who know and understand these technologies need visa sponsorships, as they are mostly from other countries. Since you are an American citizen, you have an upper hand on these jobs, as you are ready to work without any extra work required by the company to sponsor you for this type of work. You can say that I am a green card holder or a citizen and don't require any sponsorships. Recruiter can ask about your skill and knowledge based on your training. There is a lot that you have learned in this training. If you can talk about all the skills that you have learned in the training, you are golden on your resume and it is being presented to the hiring manager for sure. You can elaborate the skills you have learned by saying, I have a rich understanding of all manufacturing operations such as DS, DP, and FDP stages. I have a good understanding of gowning operations, A, B and CD grade both, buffer preparation, batch record, logbooks, and understandings of SOPs and other documents that exists in biotech and pharmaceutical industry. Recruiter then may ask you if you have a car, and how far are you willing to commute. This is because they have large numbers of jobs open in many cities and towns across your state. They are trying to find out how far you can travel if the opportunity is right. That's all. This question can come in many ways, like where you are located and how far are you willing to travel to work. Recruiter can ask where are you located just to assess how far you are from a hub of big companies where they can find more opportunities for you and a better pay comparatively. You will get experienced in this over the time, and our job is to educate and train you more and more to make a viable decision with your career. You can also tell the recruiter you can commute up to 45 to 50 minutes. Some trainees get lucky with securing the jobs in their own towns. Some of these towns are Burlington, Woburn, Norwood, Davins, Framingham, MA, and many other cities across Massachusetts. Believe me, wherever you are in Massachusetts, there is a job very close to you. Next question I have always heard over and over: how soon you can join? That is because some jobs need to be filled right away as soon as the interview is done, as the company is desperately need the help. How soon you can join? If you don't have any work, you can say I can join within a week. But let me explain the time window it will take after successfully cracking the interview and getting an offer letter. After confirmation of your employment agency or HR will begin your background check, which can take up to 5 to 10 business days. Right after the query check, your medical screening will complete. After all paperwork formalities, you are ready to go to work. This standard time period between the final interview and your joining date can be 10 to 14 days. This is kind of an idea of the time you have to keep in mind and plan accordingly. When a recruiter feels strongly about your resume, the recruiter would ask you, do you have any potential offer? They want to know if you have been interviewed and waiting for an offer, just to assess how quickly they must submit your resume. So, to get clarity on exactly where you are in terms of your job search helps the recruiter to understand how quickly they have to move on to submit your resume. Do not fret over the science of recruitment and how it works, just follow these instructions. Your job is just a few weeks away. As we speak, there are more than 300 jobs available in 21 cities of North Shore communities in Massachusetts. If you are applying for these positions, you are in demand. Therefore, get excited. Then the last question recruiter would ask before concluding the call: hey candidate, do you have any questions for me before I conclude the call? At this time, you should ask some very important questions to learn the process more. Ask them about the turnaround time. You can say, when can I expect first round of interview? How long is the interview process? And how soon the company is looking to hire? This will give you an idea how desperately they need this position filled. Most of the time when companies are trying to fill a position, most likely they are shorthanded and want to hire someone within 3 weeks after your resume gets shortlisted. That's all for recruiter's role.